Hello everyone, this is Kaizouwar here. We finally reached the end of 2023, and I've always make a video every time we hit this point in the year. And I wanted to change up a little bit, instead of just making kind of a congratulatory video. I kind of wanted to make more of a things I've done this year. You know, video games I've played this year I think was a good topic, so why not? I decided to make a little video about 10 games I played this year. These aren't all games that came out in this year. Honestly, funny enough, I haven't bought that many games. Like, I don't buy too many current games, so I decided to like, you know what, let's just buy some older games and just say that I played them in 2023, because I did. So all these games are not 2023 exclusives, but these were all games I played this year and had, you know, some fun with. So I wanted to talk about them just to make a little list about it, because I haven't made a top 10 list in like forever. I have not. So without further ado, let's get in my top 10 list of games I played this year, because why not? Street Fighter 6 was a game that I did not know what to expect going in. Knowing how Street Fighter 5's, launched, and it was pretty terrible until it got better as it got updated more, I kind of had no faith going into 6 at all. But then they started showing up trailers about how the World Tour mode and the fighting hub and the expanded roster, the new stuff, how good the game looks on the RE engine, and just all the content that comes out in the game on launch. I got a little hyped, right? And I was like, you know what? I was going to buy the game on launch. I bought Street Fighter 6 on launch, and I told myself I was going to probably regret it because I didn't know how the game was going to feel. But to my utter shock and disbelief, this game is good. Like, really, really good out the gate. One thing that Street Fighter 6 reminds me of, that it just reminds me of the good old days. Like, granted, you don't unlock a lot of crazy stuff in this game. You don't unlock characters and everything. There's still season passes and all that stuff. But the one thing that Street Fighter 6 reminds me of is the good old days of just having a big game to play, And it's fun just playing the World Tour mode, just running around, customizing your little character, talking to other Street Fighter characters, learning more about them, having them mentor you. Like, it's so fun how charming this game is, and it works off the legacy of Street Fighter as a whole. This game is the Street Fighter game, right? Like, and I'm glad to know that it's good automatically, so it can only get better from here, hopefully. Now, Capcom has, brought up some seedy stuff with the whole, charging for costumes and the drive tickets and all that stuff. But to me personally, that's small potatoes compared to the actual good game. Hopefully they don't ruin this. They've done a good job so far with Street Fighter 6. It sold a lot of copies out the gate, and it's a fun-ass game to play. The game looks amazing, and the game sounds amazing. I haven't found a song I personally like, but I do like playing this game, and I'm glad that Street Fighter 6 came out the gate good. I never buy a Street Fighter game on launch. I mean, after what happened in 5, I just was so afraid of buying another Street Fighter game. I didn't know how 6 was going to turn out, but it's actually a really good game. I highly recommend anyone Street Fighter 6 if they want to play a fighting game, because it's super accessible, has a lot of content, and I really enjoy this game. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, so whenever they bring out any new game, I will cop it immediately. Now, Pokemon is a series that's super hard to talk about on my channel because, there's a lot of discourse around the series about how Switch Pokemon games people don't like all that much, and, just how Pokemon's quality started to degrade over the years, all that junk, and I really don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is it's a mixed experience for me, right? The game looks gross. I don't think that's a good way to describe it. The game doesn't look as good as it should, right? And funny enough, that didn't deter me too much. If anything, they kind of enhanced my experience, right? I'm not saying it's like it's inexcusable, right? This is completely, bad on Game Freak and the Pokemon Company's part, because they really need to do better, really. Like, doing better is something they definitely need to do. But it's fun, like, exploring the world. Like, it's fun, like, riding around, like, just on your freaking legendary of your choice, Scarlet and Violet, Koraidon or Miraidon. You can ride on a legendary of your choice and just go around places. Like, it's a big open world. Like, I feel like this game was a little bit too ambitious for Pokemon at this time. Like, seeing how Legends Arceus did, like, big open zones, and they had a lot more going on with them than in Scarlet and Violet. I really wish they went that route rather than just making a giant open world, but funny enough, I like exploring the world. I like be able to, like, just transition from the open, like, world into a city without any loading screens. I think that's kind of cool. And it's fun seeing all the new Pokemon. It's fun seeing all the brand new characters, which I do like all the new characters. They are brimming with personality. That's one thing. A lot of people complain about Pokemon's writing and stuff like that, but I really do believe that they really excel in the character department. It's fun seeing all these new gym leaders and new rivals and new just people all around the world. You know, how, you know, expressive and personality filled they are. And it's fun seeing that through their Pokemon battles as well. It's nice seeing what teams they have and what they're going to do next and what the story is going to lead them. I really do enjoy Pokemon Scarlet and Violet despite the massive issues. Do I say it's one of my favorite Pokemon games? No. It is not, because again, there's a lot of issues with the game. It definitely should look better. It definitely should run better. Like, the frame rate is absolutely garbage. Like, really, I don't know why a Pokemon game runs this bad. Like, there's no way. Like, Sword and Shield and Legends Arceus and even Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl did not run this bad. Like, good God. Like, again, this game was far too ambitious for what Pokemon's capable of at the moment. But if this is like the groundwork for a new Pokemon game and they improve on it, which I'm still holding out hope they make a new Pokemon game that's actually not this problematic, I hope that we get something good, right? Again, I love Scarlet and Violet. I guess I like Scarlet and Violet. It's a fun game. It's not my favorite Pokemon game, but a lot of quality of life changes in the exploration and the characters. It just makes it worth it enough to, you know, just say it's a good Pokemon game. It's not the best, but just it's there. It's decent. As folks know on my channel, I really do love the Final Fantasy series, and since the early Realm Reborn days back on the PS3, and that was like supported for barely any time until they cut the support, which means I wasn't able to play Final Fantasy 14 again. So come 10 years later, I decided to, like, you know what, why not? You know, I had the money at the moment. I wanted to try. Everybody's playing 14. I wanted to, you know, hang out with my friends. So why not? Let's play 14. And it's funny enough, I haven't enjoyed myself with a Final Fantasy game in this amount of time in a long time, right? 14 is insanely fun. Now, granted, I haven't passed too much of the game. I'm still in the Realm Reborn, but what I've played so far and what I've experienced so far is insane, right? Like, the game is just a giant love letter to Final Fantasy in general, right? And that's good to hear. Amazing soundtrack by Masayoshi Soken. Like, I downplayed this guy for years because I never actually paid attention to the 14 soundtrack enough. But damn, this guy's like, the fact that he's mainly the sole composer for the series is insane. Like, that's a lot of music to put in the game from one guy. Like, absolutely crazy. And I don't know, it's fun walking these open zones and just meeting people and just seeing what they're doing, all the mounts they have, all the battles they're going through, the little communities they build, the guilds they make, you know, the story. Granted, I'm still in the Realm Reborn. I'm still trying to trudge through that, so I haven't gotten to the crazy stuff because I heard people say that stuff gets really good once you reach Heaven's Sword, and I do believe them because a lot of people praise the game as it goes on, and I hope to get there as well in time. Like, again, I have 10 years worth of game to get through, so, you know, it's going to be a while, but so far, I'm actually hooked. I really am hooked. Final Fantasy 14 is just a beast of a game. It's a beast of an MMO. And the fact that it's a console MMO in our day and age, and it's still on console, is actually really impressive. That's a good way to get more people into it. And it's coming to Xbox soon, so that's pretty awesome. I like the fact that it's also going to Xbox, and hopefully they'll crossplay with all that. So, boom, everyone gets to enjoy 14. And like, the fact that 14 sold out on digital copies, I heard that story a while ago, and I still can't believe the fact that how do you sell out on a digital copy of a game? That's how good your game is. My history with the Doc Hat series is very simple. I grew up watching it on Toonami, and back in the day, I did not appreciate it for how good it actually was. Dot Hack signing is very slow and very character heavy, but it's those moments that really make the show worth watching. And plus, Yuki Kajiura's soundtrack was really good back then until she got into SAO, and then it kind of just got boring from there. But that's my personal opinion. But the point is, Dot Hack is a cool series. Like, honestly, like, it's not perfect. Definitely ain't perfect. The fact that we still don't have IMOQ remastered is still maddening. I swear to God. But I recently picked up Die Hack GU Last Recode because I did have the Die Hack GU games when I was younger. I just never actually played them because A, I never had all three, and B, finding a copy, like finding the rest of them was so weird. Like I found the first copy, which was Rebirth, but I couldn't find the other ones. And I knew there was a volume 1, so I was like, okay, maybe there's a volume 2 and a volume 3. And when the game ended off on the cliffhanger, I was like, okay, well, that was a terrible game. That was my opinion of it back then. But now I played Last Recode. I am really enjoying my time with it. I love the characters and I love the whole like idea of like, you know, you're playing a single player MMO and about how the mysteries of what's going on there. I think Die Hack succeeds a lot in atmosphere, and I really like the atmosphere of the game as well. And plus the soundtrack by Chiyako of Fukuda, I always forget her name, but I know she's like a big Bandai Namco composer because she composed for Asura's Wrath and the Naruto Ninja Storm series. She is a lovely composer. Like, she is killing it on Die Hack. Like, swear to God, Die Hack GU, she is doing an insane job with the score. Like, oh my goodness. And it's nice seeing how the characters develop from when they started out in the first game all the way to like at least the third game. Now, I haven't played Volume 4 Reconnection yet. I really want to. I don't want to bring out spoilers on this video. I tried to make this sort of video spoiler free. But if you are like nostalgic, if you're in a nostalgic mood for an old PS2 game, I feel like Die Hack GU Last Recode might scratch your itch. If you just want to play something old, just buy it, right? It's super cheap. It's always going on sale. Bandai Namco games, so you can pick this game up like mega cheap and have fun with it. Now, it ain't perfect. The gameplay is a little weird and difficulty balancing is a little off, but I really do believe that Die Hack GU Last Recode should be enjoyed by more people, and I really think like it's a good showing of the PS2 back in this time. I haven't been into the Xenoblade Chronicles series for long. It's only been a year since I first played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as my first Xenoblade game, and I've been hooked ever since. So, I played Xenoblade Chronicles 3, amazing game. More people should really, like, play it, because it's a damn shame this game has not sold more than it did. And to my utter shock and disbelief, and actually I guess I wasn't really shocked because I knew it was going to happen, but Xenoblade Chronicles 3 released an expansion known as Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed, which is basically the end of the Xenoblade Chronicles trilogy as of now, with hints to more on the horizon. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed is just insane how it exists in its current form. Not only it's a prequel to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, not only it has to be its own standalone game, but it also has to end the trilogy as a whole. And that's 3 tough things to ask of one expansion to do. But to my utter shock and disbelief and, absolute faith, Monolith Soft managed to pull it off. Future Redeemed is the most fan-servicey game in the best way possible. If you stuck around with the entire Xeno meta series, from Xenogears all the way to Xenosaga and every Xenoblade game, you will be rewarded for sticking around with just all of it. Now, I feel like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed is sort of incomprehensible to someone who hasn't played, every Xeno game. For example, if you just jumped into Xenoblade Chronicles, 3 for the first time and you want to play the expansion, I don't think it's going to help you out too much, but it does have enough cool character moments and enough plot there to satisfy those who've at least played 3. But if you played every damn Xeno game, like Xenogears, all 3 episodes of Xenosaga, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, if you played everything Tetsuya Takahashi has made as his time as a game creator, you can definitely feel that all over in Future Redeemed. It has an amazing cast, amazing returning cast in the form of Rex and Shulk and her children, Nicole and Glimmer. Like, it's so cool to see the work that one man, Tetsuya Takahashi, and his team, I guess I can't say one man because it's a whole team of people, but Tetsuya Takahashi has been like struggling to get his ideas out there, to get his story recognized, for people to see what he wants to talk about. And I really do believe that this game is the pinnacle of his work so far and the pinnacle of all the Xeno series. Like, this is the good end point. If the series were to end now, this would be the best point to end it. But of course not. We got more on the horizon, and I'm so happy to see what other new Xenoblade game or other Xeno game comes out on the horizon. I really do want to see that. So yeah, Future Redeemed, fun as hell game. For just being an expansion, this game definitely should have had a physical release, like Torn of the Golden Country did. Like, for real, amazing game, fun gameplay. Like, it's just It's everything I ever could have wanted in a game expansion, and other video game companies really need to take notes. This is ridiculous. This game is too good for people not to follow the leader. To be honest with you, I have not much to say on Tales of Arise because I'm not gonna lie, this game did not, really catch me in the way I expected it would. I started playing the Tales of series with Berseria, right? And I really, 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 really hold that game in a high regard. And it made me go back to play games like Symphonia, which is really good, Vesper, which is really good. And I thought, okay, the most current game out right now is Tales of Arise. Why not try that out? Of course. It was super cheap. I bought it I think like $20. And I was like, okay, this game is hella cheap. It looks amazing. The game looks amazing graphically. The voice cast sounds really good. And I decided, why not? Let's try it out. And I don't know. I picked up the game, played for a little bit, dropped it, picked it up, played for a little bit, dropped it. I'm not too far into the game yet. I want to say I'm halfway through it, but I'm just not feeling the vibes that I thought I would have. I thought I would have enjoyed this game more. It's not like I hate the game, but it's not like I feel anything particular for it either. Normally when I play a game, I'd be like, okay, I'm hyped, or I'm just pissed off about something, but Tales of Arise doesn't give me either of that. I don't know what it is. It's just I'm not a particular fan of this game. It's just the game hasn't done anything wrong, but I just don't vibe with it. I don't know what it is. The gameplay is all right. I mean, I'm not a fan of the gameplay, at least in the early stages, because it feels like you don't have enough options to really do anything. But that happens with every new game. Every game is early stages. You don't have enough to do. But I'm just not feeling any of the characters. The music doesn't really hit me too hard, and the game still looks good. That's one thing I'll give it credit for. The game looks amazing, but I don't know. I probably should give it another chance. I really don't want to count a game out so early. I'm already practically halfway through it, I think. So I might as well just give it another shot. But Tales of Arise is the only game on this list that I don't feel any particular feelings towards. Every other game I played on here is oh yeah, I think it's hype, or I think it's it has issues, but it's still a decent game at the end of the day. But Tales of Arise gives me none of that. I just don't know why I just don't know what to feel. I just play it and I feel so stone-faced, if that makes any sense. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Tales of Arise. I don't want to get into crazy spoiler moments or go into deep detail about a bunch of random stuff that make this section longer than it is. But the point is, Tales of Arise is not hitting me. But maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe I'll make a video on it someday. Don't know. But for now, I'll just have to, try some more. So we're back to another Final Fantasy game, huh? So here we are with Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, which I actually saw coming. So Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out, and of course people are going to have to play more games of Final Fantasy VII to understand what's happening in the later parts of Remake. I'm not going to go to spoilers here. And I thought, okay, well, Crisis Core exists. Are we going to get a remaster of that? And we did. But they changed a lot of it to a point where it feels like an entirely new game. The gameplay has changed. The graphic change is insane. The fact that they ran the game in Unreal and make the models look like they're from Final Fantasy VII Remake is actually pretty insane. This game looks really good on the Switch. I bought the Switch version and it actually looks really good. I haven't seen any crazy graphical hiccups or anything like that. The game plays smoothly. I never had any lag or anything like that. And the game looks really good on the Switch, right? It feels like you're playing a smaller version of Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Switch. Now, my issues come with voice acting and stuff like that, because Final Fantasy VII, particularly, well, not really just Final Fantasy VII, just Crisis Core really always had an awkward voice direction, always had awkward lines. But there was some saving graces in there. You had Sephiroth voiced by George Newbern, who was excellent. Zack was voiced by Rick Gomez, which is pretty iconic. Voice acting is very iconic, Despite all the faults with, the voice direction of Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, I really do believe that those smaller moments and the people had at least decent voices. It just had awkward line delivery. So we come to Crisis Core, and we're using the new cast that they're going to bring up because this is a whole new thing now. So you got characters Cloud, Sephiroth voiced by the remake voice actors, and you got brand new voice actors for characters like Angeal and Genesis. And then you get Zack, who's still using his Final Fantasy VII remake voice actor, Caleb Pierce. And hearing a whole game with him is kind of painful, not gonna lie. He's not horrible, but he is not Rick Gomez. It just feels awkward playing a whole game with this terrible line delivery, and it just kind of makes Zack just not fun to play with, or like at least fun to see him in cutscenes. But it just feels different. Like, you know, it feels so different. It feels like you're not even playing Zack at this point. But, you know, we're kind of stuck with him throughout, you know, the whole remake trilogy. So we're just gonna deal with it. But despite that, the game is super good. Like, the game is super fun. The materials system is actually really fun to mess with because you get a lot of cool material in this game. The gameplay is significantly, you know, changed, right? Like, you could actually, like feel like you're taking control of Zack more, because in the original Crisis Core, you know, it's just like you're tapping commands and Zack just walks over and does the command. But in this game, you're actually full on action. You can dodge roll, like perfect timing, and attack like you're playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is actually really good. I'm glad they changed the gameplay rather than just porting the game over one for one from the original PSP, which is actually awesome. That's great that they changed the game up so significantly, so you actually feel like you're playing like Final Fantasy VII Remake. And you know, despite my gripes with, you know, voice acting and stuff like that, I really do believe that this game's like a vast improvement over the original Crisis Core. And if anyone's a big fan of Final Fantasy VII and they want to see what's going to happen later in Remake, and obviously I feel like you're going to play Reunion in order to know what's going to happen later in the Remake's trilogy, you're going to have to play it. And I feel like the game's least fun enough to play. There's some jank with it, you know, there's some things that they still haven't changed from the PSP version, like enemy spawns, where you just like walk into an empty area and an enemy just spawns out of nowhere, which I don't know why they didn't change that. This game's a PSP, like, the game was a PSP game. They could have easily changed it now it's on like current day consoles, but whatever, I guess. Whatever, man. But yeah, Crisis Core Reunion, damn fun game, vast improvement over the PSP version. Highly recommend it if you really want to play Final Fantasy VII in any form. Phantom Breaker Omnia was one fighting game that I just did not give a single shit about. And that's not, and it's funny saying that now, because like normally when I see a 2D fighting game these days, I have to play it, right? Because I remember when I was stuck in a rut of playing only Arc System Works games, and I thought, okay, there's so many, you know, 2D fighting games out there. There's Melty Blood, there's Arcana Heart, there's Under Night and Birth, which, I mean, granted, that's still an Arc, it's not really an Arc System Works game, it's just an Arc System Works published game. You guys get the idea. Skullgirls is out there, you know, like there's a bunch of 2D fighting games that have not, you know, the Chaos Code, that have given, like, you know, a big shot outside of like Arc System Works. So I kind of thought, okay, fine, let's play Phantom Breaker and see what's going on. But my first like sight of Phantom Breaker was a trailer they released on YouTube called Phantom Breaker Omnia Spicy Edition, which is just one weird thing that the English team wanted to do. And I don't know if that was a way of getting people to talk about the game, but it got me interested. So, like, if you guys haven't seen the Spicy Edition of the trailer, you definitely have to check it out. It is so weird. Like, it feels like one of those old ass early 2000 advertisements that make you want to think the game is super cool and super epic and all that stuff, and it just feels weird. It feels like the game is not from its time, but whatever. So I bought Phantom Breaker Omnia. It was on sale, so I thought, okay, why not? And to my utter shock and disbelief, I had fun with it. I played it on stream one day just to test out how the game would run and how it would play, and just, you know, just goof around with it for 2 hours. It didn't click with me at first, but there's a special style in the game called Omnia, and I decided to play that, and the game felt significantly better to play. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if, like, you know, obviously there's like different properties between the styles of the game, like, you know, different play styles, but playing the Omnia style made the game like so worth it for me, and the game was actually really fun to play. It's nice to see a game, like a fighting game, that isn't like made by Arc System Works or like any other big company, getting English voice acting as well. Like, the fact that this game has a full ass English dub is actually really insane. Like that, some games just, like, some game companies just don't even want to try anymore, and you see this game come out the gate for it. Now, there's a bit of research of games being dubbed, so that's good. You know, we got, like, you know, the new obviously Street Fighter is gonna be dubbed forever. Like, imagine Street Fighter coming out with a game that hasn't been dubbed. That would be insane. But like, you know, BlazBlue Cross Tag Battles getting, you know, got dubbed. You know, Get Together Strive got dubbed. So that's nice to see that more games are taking the incentive of actually putting work into the voice acting of the game, because, like, it's crazy to see that. But the game is actually pretty fun to play. Like, it sucks that no one is playing the game now, because, you know, the game released with no rollback netcode, and I know that's a deal breaker for a lot of people. Hell, when the game first came out, that was the one thing people were looking for. Does it have rollback? And when it was announced that it didn't have rollback netcode, people just didn't even bother playing it, which is a shame because I think the game's really fun. Like, I played it for 2 hours, and I continued to play like 4 more hours after that. And I really do believe the game, like Phantom Breaker Omnia, is actually really, really fun for a fighting game. It's just super underrated. I think this is a game that's probably going to fly under a lot of people's radar now that it's out and no one wants to touch it. But I do believe that the game's really fun, and I do believe that this game definitely needed more attention than it did. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it gets a resurgence. Maybe we'll get like an updated version. I hope so, because with new stuff like crossplay and rollback, so more people can actually actually give a look at the game before they even walk away from it. But yeah, Phantom Breaker Omnia, good game. Definitely hope the best for it if it does get an update later in the future. Melty Blood type Lumina comes out the gate swinging, right? We live in an age where a bunch of fighting games come out with insanely high season pass prices, insanely high DLC character prices, a bunch of just random bullshit that no one wants, but they still expect you to pay for it so they can get an amount of money at you. But no, Melty Blood type Lumina comes out the gate not only with already an amazing game on the offset, but it comes with a bunch of DLC characters that are completely and utterly free. You don't have to pay a single dime for them. As a matter of fact, the DLC of Melty Blood is so insignificant, you don't even have to look at it. It's just voice stuff, right? It's pretty sick. And on top of that, the game has rollback netcode, so you can just play with a bunch of friends anywhere you want without any too many hiccups. So, and it has a decent amount of single-player content, which is, again, unheard of these days. It's absolutely insane. Now, of course, this game is as good as it is. It's being backed by Type Moon, which they have more money than they know what to do with now, and it's being made by French Bread, who also made previous Melty Blood games, which were also seen as very high quality, and they also made Under Night and Birth, which also has a lot of content and an amazing gameplay style as well. So, of course, Melty Blood type Lumina, I had no fears that this game was going to come out the gate awesome. It surprises me how this game exists nowadays. The fact that not that many people talk about it more than it does is saddening, because this game's done a lot of things right. I have no issues with this game, and that's the one thing that's really hard to say about a fighting game coming out these days. I have no issue with this game. don't have a single complaint about Melty Blood type Lumina, and I definitely highly recommend it to anyone who wants to play a fighting game. I feel like this is the easiest fighting game to probably get into outside of Street Fighter 6, because this game just has a lot of content and a lot of stuff going for it, right? Again, I look at games like Guilty Gear and I complain about the lack of content, or I look at games like DNF Duel, complain about the lack of content, or I look at just a bunch of other fighting games that just fall short, or Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising with its weird monetary issues. But I look at Type Lumina and I think there's nothing wrong with this game at all. I have no complaints with the gameplay. I have no complaints with the single-player content. I have no complaints with the music. This game is damn near the perfect fighting game. And it's absolutely insane that this game does not get more recognition than it does. It definitely needs it. There's too much good in this one game to just be ignored. Melty Blood type Lumina is basically my contender for fighting game of, ever, right? Because it's done so much well that I just don't know what else to say. The only thing this game could do better is just add more characters, and I hope they do. This game's too good to not have more fighting game characters in it. Please put more. I would want more. Now, granted, I feel like they might charge you after this, but you have enough in this game to tide you over. Hell, if they started charging for characters after this, I wouldn't mind at all. I would actually pay for it, because this game's incredibly solid, and I definitely want to see it be supported more. So yeah, Melty Blood type Lumina, contender for my fighting game of ever. Now, granted, it's still Melty Blood, right? It's still Melty Blood. A lot of people aren't going to get into it, but I really hope they do, because this game is just too damn good. My final entry for this video is the Super Robot War games known as Super Robot Wars V and Super Robot Wars X. Super Robot Wars is just an impossible series. Not only is it just a gigantic crossover and love letter to damn near every mecha anime in existence, but they also have really fun tactical gameplay that's not the hardest to get around. The games are relatively easy in some respects, but they do have some crazy challenges in some of the other games. But I want to talk about V and X in particular, because those games have gotten onto the Switch, and I really like playing them portably, and plus I played them back to back when I bought them together, so I kind of have to talk about both of them in this section. So Super Robot Wars V and X, they're not perfect. There are some weird issues with the games in regards of like later difficulty bullshit, but I really think that these are my favorite Super Robot Wars games outside of the Z series. Like, I want to see the Z series come back, but we ain't getting that. But for real though, V and X are really fun and they're super accessible. Now, I had to import these games because the fun thing about the Super Robot War games in this current day and era is that like they're being officially translated into English by fans. Like literally Bandai Namco lets the fans translate the games officially. And like, you know, so we can import them. And now like you got games like Super Robot Wars 30th, which is the most current one, being literally put on Steam. So in Steam and Switch and PS4, anyone can buy the game by through import. And like it's absolutely insane how accessible those games are. Now import prices are bullshit. You know, you'll have to pay extra to get the game, but I think it's worth it. Hell, I had to pay like $70 to $80 for the copies I pulled, but I still enjoyed the games despite the amount of money I had to sink into them. But the point is, I really like Super Robot Wars V and X, and I haven't played Super Robot Wars T yet because it's part of a trilogy, the VXT trilogy, and I haven't played T yet. I don't have a desire to play T because I'm still playing through X right now, but if anyone's a massive fan of like just mecha anime, or hell, even anime in general, I really do believe people should try out Super Robot Wars in any game. I feel like any game is a good starting point. Hell, you could just find a game that has your favorite series in it and just play that and see how it comes along. Because like these games are packed to the brim with fan service of the highest order to like, and it gives you that tickle in your brain and goes like, damn, this is awesome. Like you see characters like Seabone from Gurren Lagann. And like, you know, how the hell does the Gurren Lagann universe mix with the Code Geass universe? You won't know until you play the story. And there's actually, and the funny thing about it is, these games are written in a way where like you can totally believe that the universes from completely different things could exist in one universe, which is actually insane. The writers are smoking some of that good shit to make that possible. But yeah, I want to specifically talk about these two games because I really do enjoy V and X. They are by far the best Super Robot Wars games we got now, and I haven't played Super Robot Wars 30th much, but that game's also good, so I recommend that. But I really want to talk about specifically V and X, so yeah. But yeah, that's my list of games I played this year. Now, again, as I mentioned before, not all of them were released this year, but I definitely wanted to talk about them. I definitely wanted to shine a spotlight on the games I really did enjoy and had fun for in 2023, now that we've reached the end of the year. And I want to thank everyone who stuck around with this video and stuck around with me throughout the year and watched my content, liked my stuff, you know, interacted with me. I really, really am thankful for that because, you know, it helps a lot when making, you know, videos and making content that people out there are really enjoying what I'm making and people are, you know, concerned for my well-being and stuff like that. I really do appreciate it. I'm very thankful for people who have kept up with my stuff all these years and just, it's insane. I've been on YouTube since 2016, so it's been 7 years now that I've been on this platform. It's crazy to think that's a long time. 7 years is a long time. Like, I started my channel, like, right when I got, you know, high school, so it's funny seeing that like, I'm still at this, still making videos, still making content, and I really thank everyone for keeping up with me, and thank you for everyone who's just checking up on my stuff. So, thank you, everyone. Hopefully, 2024 will be just as crazy, because I have a lot of stuff planned for 2024, and I want to, like, make that a reality, you know? So, without further ado, I'll see you all next time. Peace out, everyone, and have a happy New Year's. I really appreciate all of you.